Welcome to my channel Echoes of Coin. From 1964 to 1996, the Jefferson nickel has been more than just 5 cents. Each coin carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the iconic Monticello, connecting everyday transactions to American history. Some coins are common, while others hold unique details collectors crave, like sharply defined, full steps. Join us as we uncover the stories behind these timeless nickels and discover how even the smallest coins can hold a big history. The 1964 5-cent coin from the United States, commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel, is one of the most recognized coins in American pocket change. At first glance, it may appear to be just another ordinary coin used for everyday purchases. But behind this small piece of metal lies a fascinating story of history, design, and national heritage. The 1964 issue is especially important because it was produced during a unique moment in American coinage when demand for coins was extremely high and the U.S. Mint was working overtime to supply enough currency for the public. The design of the 1964 nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's profile appears on the front side of the coin, also known as the obverse. His image has been a central feature of the nickel since 1938, replacing the earlier buffalo nickel design. The portrait used on the coin was created by the German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose work won a design competition organized by the United States Mint. On the reverse side of the 1964 nickel, the design shows Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. The building is depicted in a clean and symmetrical style, symbolizing Jefferson's architectural passion and his contribution to American culture. Above the image appears the word Monticello, while below it the denomination 5 cents confirms the coin's value. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1964 Jefferson nickel is its massive production. During the early 1960s, the United States experienced a coin shortage. People were saving coins, collectors were hoarding them, and vending machines across the country required large amounts of change. Because of this situation, the U.S. Mint produced an extraordinary number of nickels in 1964. In fact, billions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The production numbers were so large that 1964 remains one of the most common Jefferson nickels ever made. Unlike many other coins from that era, the 1964 nickel contains no silver. It is made from a durable alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition gave the coin its distinctive silvery appearance while ensuring that it remained strong enough to survive years of circulation. The coin weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, specifications that have remained consistent for the Jefferson Nickel series for decades. Although the 1964 nickel is very common, collectors still pay attention to certain details that can increase its value. Coins that remain in excellent condition, especially those with sharp details and minimal wear, can be more desirable. In addition, some pieces display what collectors call a full steps designation on the Monticello building. This means the steps of the building are clearly visible and sharply struck, which is considered a sign of high-quality minting. Another interesting fact about the 1964 nickel is that it marked the final year before the U.S. government temporarily removed mint marks from coins. During the coin shortage, officials believed collectors were saving coins with mint marks, so they removed these marks for several years to discourage hoarding. As a result, the 1964 nickel represents the end of an era just before this unusual policy took effect. Today, millions of 1964 nickels still exist, and many can still be found in circulation or in old coin jars. While most examples are worth only a small amount above their face value, they remain historically significant because they represent a time when the United States was rapidly expanding its coin production to meet the needs of a growing economy. For collectors and history enthusiasts alike, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is more than just a 5-cent coin. It is a reminder of American leadership through the image of Thomas Jefferson, a tribute to the architectural beauty of Monticello, and a symbol of a unique period in U.S. minting history. Even though it is small and often overlooked, this coin carries a story that connects economics, politics, and culture in a way that only currency can. The 1972 5-cent coin of the United States, commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel, is a small coin with a long historical background. While it may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, it represents an important continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By 1972, the Jefferson Nickel had already been circulating for more than 3 decades, and it remained an essential part of everyday commerce across the United States. The front of the 1972 nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson is remembered as one of the most influential figures in American history and the primary author of the United States Declaration of Independence. His image on the nickel symbolizes the ideals of liberty, leadership, and the early foundations of the nation. The design used for the coin was originally created by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose artwork was chosen by the United States Mint in 1938 after a national competition. On the reverse side of the 1972 nickel appears Monticello, the historic plantation home designed and owned by Jefferson in Virginia. The building is shown from the front in a balanced architectural view that highlights its famous dome and columns. Above the structure, the word Monticello is written, while the words 5 cents appear below it. This design pays tribute not only to Jefferson himself but also to his interests in architecture, science, and culture. The 1972 nickel was produced during a time when the American economy was expanding and coin demand remained high. Millions of these coins were struck at different mint facilities. The primary production took place at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, while special proof versions were produced at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. Each mint produced coins with slight differences, including mint marks that collectors often use to identify where the coin was made. In terms of composition, the 1972 Jefferson Nickel followed the standard metal mixture used for this series. The coin is made from 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gives the coin its silver-colored appearance while also making it durable enough to survive years of circulation. The nickel weighs about 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, specifications that have remained consistent for many decades. Although most 1972 nickels are common, collectors still search for examples in exceptional condition. Coins that show very little wear and retain strong details are more desirable in the collecting community. Some coins are especially valued if they show clearly defined, full steps on the Monticello building, meaning the steps of the structure appear sharp and complete. These details indicate that the coin was struck with strong pressure at the mint. Another reason the 1972 nickel is interesting is that it reflects a period of stability in American coinage. Earlier in the 1960s, the United States had faced a serious coin shortage, which forced the government to change minting policies and increase production. By the early 1970s, those problems had mostly been resolved, and coins like the 1972 nickel circulated normally in stores, vending machines, and daily transactions across the country. Today, the 1972 Jefferson Nickel remains easy to find in circulation and coin collections. While most pieces are worth only their face value of 5 cents, they still carry historical importance. Each coin connects modern collectors with the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the continuing story of American currency. For many people, discovering one of these coins in old change jars or coin rolls can spark curiosity about the history behind everyday money. Even though it is small and often overlooked, the 1972 5-cent coin represents more than just a simple denomination. It reflects American history, the legacy of Thomas Jefferson. The 1983 5-cent coin of the United States is widely known as the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that has been part of American currency for many decades. Although it is only worth 5 cents, this small coin carries historical importance and reflects the continued legacy of one of America's most influential founding figures. By the year 1983, the Jefferson Nickel had already been circulating for 45 years, making it one of the longest-running designs in the history of U.S. coinage. On the front of the 1983 nickel appears the portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was a key leader in the early history of the United States and is best known as the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. His presence on the coin honors his role in shaping the nation's ideals of freedom, democracy, and independence. The design used on the coin was originally created by artist Felix Schlag, whose work was selected in a national competition organized by the United States Mint in 1938. The reverse side of the coin features the image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home located in Virginia. The building is shown in a detailed front view, highlighting its dome and classical architectural style. Jefferson himself designed Monticello, and the building has become a powerful symbol of his intellectual and creative life. On the coin, the name Monticello appears above the building, while the words 5 cents appear below it, clearly identifying the coin's denomination. The 1983 Jefferson Nickel was produced at several mint facilities across the United States. Large numbers were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint for everyday circulation. In addition, specially made proof versions of the coin were produced at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. These proof coins were struck with extra care, resulting in sharper details and mirror-like surfaces that make them attractive to coin enthusiasts. The composition of the 1983 nickel follows the standard formula used for modern Jefferson nickels. Each coin is made from an alloy containing 75% copper and 25% nickel. This mixture provides strength and durability, allowing the coin to withstand years of use in circulation. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, measurements that have remained consistent throughout the Jefferson Nickel series. While millions of 1983 nickels were produced, collectors still search for certain examples that may carry additional value. Coins in excellent condition, especially those with strong details and minimal wear, can be more appealing to collectors. One feature often examined is the clarity of the steps on the Monticello building. When these steps appear fully visible and sharply defined, collectors refer to the coin as having full steps, which can increase its desirability. The early 1980s were a period of economic change in the United States, and coins like the 1983 nickel played a simple but important role in everyday life. They were used in vending machines, grocery stores, public telephones, and transportation systems. Although small in value, nickels were an essential part of daily transactions, making them one of the most commonly used coins in circulation. Today, the 1983 Jefferson Nickel remains easy to find in pocket change and coin collections. Most examples are still worth their original face value of 5 cents, but their historical significance continues to attract interest from collectors and history enthusiasts. The coin represents not only a piece of American currency, but also a tribute to the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the enduring design that has remained part of U.S. coinage for generations. Even though it may appear ordinary, the 1983 5-cent coin tells a quiet story about American history, craftsmanship, and tradition. Through its design and continued circulation, it preserves the image of Thomas Jefferson and the architectural beauty of Monticello, reminding people that even the smallest coins can carry a meaningful connection to the past. The 1995 5-cent coin from the United States is commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that has remained a steady part of American currency for many decades. Even though it carries a small value of just 5 cents, the coin represents an important piece of history and tradition in U.S. coinage. By 1995, this design had already been used for more than half a century, making it one of the most recognizable and longest-running coin designs in the United States. The front side of the 1995 nickel displays the portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was one of the most influential figures in early American history and is widely remembered as the main author of the United States Declaration of Independence. His image on the coin serves as a reminder of the principles of freedom and democracy that helped shape the nation. The portrait used on the nickel was originally designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose design was selected in 1938 through a competition organized by the United States Mint. On the reverse side of the coin appears the image of Monticello, the historic home that Jefferson designed and lived in during his lifetime. The building is shown in a detailed front view, highlighting its famous dome and classical architectural style. Above the structure, the name Monticello is written, while the words 5 cents appear below it to indicate the coin's denomination. This design connects the coin directly to Jefferson's life and achievements beyond politics, especially his interest in architecture and design. The 1995 Jefferson Nickel was produced at several U.S. mint facilities to supply coins for circulation across the country. Large numbers of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. In addition, special proof coins were created at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. Proof coins are made with a special minting process that produces a mirror-like background and sharper design details, making them popular among coin enthusiasts. The composition of the 1995 nickel follows the same formula that has been used for Jefferson nickels for many years. Each coin is made from an alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This metal mixture provides strength and durability while giving the coin its familiar silver-colored appearance. The coin weighs 5 grams and measures about 21.2 millimeters in diameter, maintaining the same specifications that have been used throughout most of the Jefferson Nickel series. Although millions of 1995 nickels were produced and most remain common today, collectors still search for coins in exceptional condition. Nickels that show very little wear, strong details, and clean surfaces are more desirable in the coin collecting community. One feature collectors often examine is the detail on the steps of the Monticello building. When these steps appear fully visible and clearly struck, the coin may be described as having full steps, which can make it more appealing to collectors. During the 1990s, coins like the 1995 nickel played an everyday role in American life. They were commonly used in vending machines, parking meters, payphones, and small purchases in stores. Even though electronic payments were beginning to grow, coins were still an essential part of daily transactions. Because of this constant use, millions of nickels circulated widely across the country. Today, the 1995 Jefferson nickel can still be found in circulation, coin rolls, and personal collections. While most examples are worth only their face value of 5 cents, they remain interesting pieces of modern American coinage. For collectors and history enthusiasts, the coin represents a link between everyday currency and the legacy of Thomas Jefferson. The 1995 5-cent coin may appear simple, but it carries a lasting story of American history, leadership, and design. Through its portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the image of Monticello, the coin continues to reflect the cultural and historical heritage of the United States, proving that even the smallest coins can hold a meaningful place in the story of a nation. The 1996 5-cent coin of the United States is widely known as the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that has remained an important part of American currency for many decades. Although it carries a small value of only 5 cents, the coin represents a long tradition in United States coinage and reflects the legacy of one of the nation's most influential historical figures. By the time the 1996 nickel was produced, the Jefferson design had already been in circulation for nearly 60 years, making it one of the longest-lasting designs ever used on an American coin. The front side of the 1996 nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was a central figure in the early history of the United States and is best known as the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. His leadership and ideas about freedom, democracy, and individual rights helped shape the identity of the young nation. The portrait used on the coin was originally designed by artist Felix Schlag, whose design was selected by the United States Mint in 1938 after a national competition. On the reverse side of the coin appears the image of Monticello, the historic home designed and owned by Jefferson in Virginia. Monticello is famous for its elegant dome and classical architectural style, reflecting Jefferson's deep interest in architecture and science. On the coin, the name Monticello is written above the building, while the words 5 cents appear below it, clearly identifying the denomination of the coin. This design has remained a symbol of Jefferson's cultural and intellectual influence in American history. The 1996 Jefferson Nickel was produced at several facilities operated by the United States Mint. Large numbers of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint for circulation across the country. In addition to these standard coins, special proof versions were also produced at the San Francisco Mint specifically for collectors. Proof coins are carefully struck using polished dies, creating sharp details and reflective surfaces that make them attractive to numismatists. The composition of the 1996 nickel follows the standard formula used for modern Jefferson nickels. Each coin is made from an alloy containing 75% copper and 25% nickel. This combination of metals gives the coin its silver-colored appearance while also making it strong and resistant to wear. The coin weighs 5 grams and measures approximately 21.2 millimeters in diameter, maintaining the same physical specifications used for most Jefferson nickels throughout their history. Although millions of 1996 nickels were produced and they remain common today, collectors still examine them carefully for high-quality examples. Coins that have little to no wear, bright surfaces, and strong design details are more desirable in the collecting community. One feature that collectors often look for is the clarity of the steps on the Monticello building. When the steps appear fully visible and sharply defined, the coin may receive a full steps designation, which can increase its interest among collectors. During the mid-1990s, coins like the 1996 nickel were still widely used in everyday life. They were commonly used in vending machines, parking meters, payphones, and small purchases in stores. While electronic payments were beginning to grow, physical coins were still essential for daily transactions. Because of this, the United States Mint continued producing large quantities of nickels to meet the needs of the public. Today, the 1996 Jefferson nickel can still be found in circulation, coin rolls, and personal collections. Most examples remain worth only their face value of 5 cents, but they continue to hold historical and educational value. For collectors and history enthusiasts, the coin represents a small but meaningful connection to the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the long tradition of American coin design. Even though the 1996 5-cent coin may appear simple at first glance, it carries a deeper story about American history, leadership, and craftsmanship. Through its portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the image of Monticello, the coin preserves an important piece of the nation's heritage and reminds us that even the smallest coins can reflect the enduring story of the United States. The 2013 5-cent coin of the United States is part of the long-running Jefferson Nickel series, a coin that has been in continuous circulation for decades. Although its value is only 5 cents, the coin represents an important tradition in American coinage, connecting everyday transactions to the legacy of one of the nation's most influential figures. By 2013, the Jefferson Nickel had been in circulation for over 75 years, making it one of the longest-lasting and most recognizable designs in U.S. history. The front, or obverse, of the 2013 nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was a key figure in American history, best known as the principal author of the United States Declaration of Independence. His image on the coin reflects his lasting impact on the nation, symbolizing ideals of freedom, leadership, and democracy. The design was originally created by the German-American sculptor Felix Schlag, whose artwork was chosen by the United States Mint in 1938. On the reverse side of the coin is Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. Monticello is an architectural symbol of Jefferson's intellectual and creative pursuits. The coin shows the building in a detailed front view, highlighting its classical dome and balanced design. Above the building is the word Monticello, and below it, 5 cents, identifies the coin's denomination. This design has remained a hallmark of the Jefferson Nickel series for decades, linking the coin to Jefferson's cultural and historical contributions. The 2013 nickel was produced at multiple U.S. mint facilities. The primary mints for circulation coins were the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Special proof coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors, featuring mirror-like surfaces and sharply defined details, making them highly prized among numismatists. The composition of the 2013 Jefferson Nickel consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy provides the coin with its silver-colored look while making it durable enough for years of circulation. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, specifications consistent with the Jefferson Nickel series for generations. Collectors value nickels in exceptional condition, especially those with strong detail and minimal wear. Coins with clear, sharply defined steps on the Monticello building are considered full steps and are particularly sought after. Even in a common year like 2013, coins in pristine condition can appeal to collectors. Though small in value, the 2013 nickel played a significant role in everyday American life. Coins were used in vending machines, parking meters, public transportation, and small purchases, maintaining their importance despite the growing prevalence of electronic payments. The nickel remained a practical and familiar piece of currency for millions of Americans. Today, the 2013 Jefferson Nickel can still be found in circulation and collections. While most examples are worth only face value, they carry historical significance and a tangible connection to Thomas Jefferson and American coinage traditions. This small coin is a reminder of the country's history, craftsmanship, and enduring symbols of leadership. Even in 2013, the 5-cent coin reflects more than monetary value. Through Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello image, it preserves history, honors a founding father, and continues a design that has connected generations of Americans to the nation's past. It shows that even the smallest coins can tell a story about heritage, leadership, and the lasting legacy of American design.